All right.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Neil Henry, and I'm a patient of Beautiful Minds. Before I speak about my journey through therapy, I'd like to take a moment for a land acknowledgement. This evening, we are gathered on the ancestral lands of the Nishinan, Miwok, and Maidu peoples. I would like to pay my utmost respects to those people and the elders of this land, past, present, and emerging. With gratitude, I'd like to begin my story. My life has changed dramatically through hard work and therapy. By the time I reached out for help, I was disconnected from myself, the environment around me, and unable to feel much other than fear. I was floating in an ocean without direction and needed to anchor myself. This debilitating state of mind wasn't an overnight process. It started when I was a child and continued to build. As young kids, we moved around a bit, but landed in Santa Cruz with my mom, a single parent, who was battling addiction and struggling with her own mental health. Because of this, we were latchkey kids, running around, having adventures, and that became the norm for us during our preschool age, and it seemed great at the beginning. She did the best she could to put her kids first, but with her own struggles, we slipped into third place at best. Addiction can overtake people, and I don't blame her. This time period would include a slew of traumatic experiences a kid didn't deserve. Strangers had shown me pain before I knew what the word meant. Evil found its way into my life at a very young age, and a very young and impressionable age. Core beliefs were formed from a place of harm where there was supposed to have been safety. Eventually, we were taken out of that home and moved to Placer County to be with my dad and stepmom, where I could start kindergarten, and things were great. I had escaped. But soon, those same type of experiences found me again. And even though we were in the setting of a new home, a new school, a new neighborhood, it was still there. By early elementary school, it had appeared my ear had been tagged, and bad people could find me anywhere. During my teenage years, despite my dad trying his best, behavioral issues were already written in the sand. I found myself kicked out of high school and on probation. Juvenile hall, juvenile work project, jail, and countless court dates consumed my dad and I's time. I landed a visit to a psychiatric facility, enrolled in continuation high school, and became too familiar with probation officers. I was truant in school, using substances, getting arrested, and into fights. Coincidentally, this is also around the time I met my future wife, Erin, at a high school party. She was the warmth in that cold existence. We were 16 and 17. Years later, I moved to Albuquerque, then Atlanta, and after 5 years, Erin joined us. My behavior improved enough to keep jobs, to pay bills, but I was compensating for what was looming deep within me. During that time, I worked as an emergency department technician in emergency rooms and trauma centers in both New Mexico and Georgia. For 9 years, I worked with heroes that are now family. But the witnessing of suffering, death, and violence built up on me slowly. A place where everyone was either having the worst day of their life or the last day of their life did not help my already grim outlook. I was completely unaware that my brain and my soul had had enough. Right around that time, Erin and I decided to return to California to be near our families, which was the same area where much of my troubles began. I started experiencing severe anxiety and physical panic attacks during normal and everyday experiences. All I could think of is how and why. A mind-numbing wall was in front of my emotions that I couldn't break through. I wasn't myself. Not myself soon became a complete disconnection from the physical, spiritual, and environmental worlds around me. I felt far away, like looking at someone else's life through an old pair of binoculars that became further and further away. Destructive thought patterns and distorted thinking were now running my life and had taken a complete foothold. Depression settled over me, and my beliefs about the world were dark. Deep down, I knew something had to change, and I needed it as much as I needed oxygen. I trusted a sliver of hope to not give in. I knew there was help out there, I knew that people trained and went to school to help people like me, but help felt like a lifeline too far to grab. I finally went online and searched for the closest help. October 2021, I had my first therapy session with Chriselle Alazaron at my fearless therapist here at Beautiful Minds. We had walked completely different paths, but I am forever grateful they crossed. Very quickly realized she had a powerful message. I knew she was serious and sincere, and that is what I needed. We would discuss hard truths and tougher questions. We worked on challenging assignments and countless hours of various therapy techniques that I could add to my therapy tool belt. I learned to ask when and not why when faced with personal challenges and work through them. I also learned to speak to the younger me when he was in his darkest times. I learned to see past events in more realistic narratives and shape a new way of thinking about myself and those experiences. Through cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, I learned to challenge destructive thinking patterns. One of those techniques includes identifying and working through cognitive distortions, like fortune telling, comparison to others, should statements, personalizing, mind reading, and catastrophizing. I learned to take my thoughts to court while still having compassion for those thoughts. We worked through dialectical behavioral therapy, or DBT, which helped me manage my emotions, practice mindfulness, and set emotional boundaries. DBT also taught me opposite action and taking experiences for what they are and not what they could be. Purcell taught me we cannot see well in the fog, so avoid making decisions out of the FOG, fear, obligation, or guilt. I also learned the difference between people-pleasing and being kind, which I am still working on. I learned radical acceptance for things I can't change. I cannot express the gratitude I have for Chriselle. She helped me love the person that I am today. Today I continue therapy, challenging those learned core beliefs, and I am still a work in progress. Erin has stood through my side through each phase of my life, and we are now married, and with her I am home. I love you. I went back to school and graduated with honors, and now have a career that I love. We live in a little cabin, we cut our own firewood, enjoy archery, beekeeping, and giving honey away to the loved ones. My relationship with my mom has been strained, but we remain close, remembering that boundaries make relationships. They don't break them. Through persistence and courage while in therapy, I reconnected to the world around me, as if my life was once stuck, has moved forward, and it's not just better, it's mine again. This reconnection has proven that while we may feel stuck, it doesn't mean that we're broken. Thank you.